Hey everybody, this is ElCid932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm usually saying joining me. It's usually just me up here, but we have the wonderful opportunity here for the first interview on this channel with Cam from Ready to Love. If you watch Ready to Love, if you're on the OWN network, please make sure that you show some love. If you would like your question to be considered, because we cannot have him violating that NDA. If you
Real
want,
talks.
if you want your question considered, please put a Q in front of your question so we can look at it later and we can talk about it. So no musical intro this time, but we have Cam here. Cam, thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
it,
I'm,
it
I'm
it has
you
been a delight. I've watched Ready to Love. Have you watched Ready to Love for a bit? Any seasons before this?
yeah, actually I watched a few before my season. I used to watch it actually with an ex. That used to be kind of like our show that we used to watch together. So I watched a few seasons before this.
Is this a good lick back with being on the show? Now she got to watch
Nah. We not about No, we not about that. We not about that. It's just it's unfortunate, but like it just kind of happened that way.
Okay. Good to see. Good to see. Glad to see, as the chat says, you have wonderful artwork behind you. You're wearing Biggie, as
Oh,
the young
oh
lady,
yeah.
Brooklyn, Brownsville, but you
Okay.
also have
All right, East
Nipsey.
Coast. Yeah. I got Nipsey behind. Yeah, I'm a big music person and just like what he stands for in general. Like I'm a big fan of him, so I gotta show respect to him.
So, what song or musical line would encapsulate you, would you say?
Man, that's a heavy one. Man, I could say like an artist and like his like what he
Okay.
talks about pretty much. Like I'm a big J. Cole fan,
Okay.
so a lot of stuff that he talks about therapy. He talks about being a grown man. He talks about not falling in line with with the culture and like with the dumb stuff that come with the culture. So, I kind of respect what he's saying and his message with everything. So that's like my favorite artist.
Right, because his message goes way beyond music, way
Oh
beyond music.
yeah. For sure. Yeah. So I always respect him and actually I was just at Dreamville Fest in April in Raleigh,
Awesome.
North Carolina. So yeah.
So tell
Mhm.
me, are you a native of Philadelphia?
Yes, ma'am. Born and raised in Philly. So been here my whole life, so this is all I know.
Okay, well, full disclosure, I have cousins from Philadelphia. If
Oh
anyone has
yeah.
seen, if anyone has seen our recaps, you will know that I keep saying it's Philly, and I summered in Philly a lot. I know about the plateau where everybody go.
Yeah, it's not as popular as it was, but yeah, back in the day used to be that spot.
That back in the mid 90s to the 2000s, it was the spot.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, all right. That the area that your family from, West Philly?
They are, yeah, Northwest Philly, kind of. I was just there in last fall for a birthday. We all got together. I
Okay,
hadn't
all right.
seen them in probably 20 years, but we communicate, but I hadn't seen them. But
Okay, that's what's up.
it was good reminiscing about the wrong side of Philly that we used to end up in.
Yeah. It's a lot of wrong sides of Philly, I ain't gonna lie.
But there are some good sides.
For
Tell
sure.
me, how was it growing up in Philadelphia? Family dynamic, siblings, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm from Uptown, like so I grew up in Germantown. We always moved around like Mount Airy, West Oak Lane. So I kind of always kind of stayed within that area. I got one older sister. She got like 2 years on me. So it was just me, my sister, and both my parents. My parents are still married. They've been married for like shit, like 38 years or something like that. So yeah, so it was just like our little family unit. So. I kind of, of course, it wasn't perfect. Growing up in Philly ain't ever perfect. Like, it's
Is
always
anywhere
something.
perfect?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's so. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, but ultimately, like, I had a family that cared about me and loved me, and that's more than a lot of people had. So I'm grateful for that.
Wonderful. Now, was your family unit typical of your area? You said mom and dad, together
No.
38 years.
No, that's not typical at all. Like I'm probably one of, at least in my friend group, was the few one of the few people that had still both parents in the household. And I'm definitely one of the few people now that who parents are still married at my age. So yeah, it definitely wasn't the norm where I'm from.
Yeah, my grandparents were together for 38 plus years.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It's
yep,
rare these days.
definitely. It is rare,
Mhm.
and I learned a lot from them and their
Right.
experience. So, what has your parents taught you as far as what you're looking for a longevity in a relationship?
Um, One thing I always observed about them is like they always chose each other. Like nobody's perfect, and I feel like that's like a lost art these days and my generation. It's like as soon as something happened, people quick to leave. So I think more so like people work through things more. So I definitely see my parents just like at the end of the day just keep choosing each other. And but that's kind of like what it all boils down to because nothing's gonna be perfect out here. So you keep on looking for perfection, then you're not going to end up where you want to be at. So they just kept choosing each other and kept giving me and my sister that image of like black love, and this is possible. Like this can be a real thing. So I definitely will always like appreciate the example that they gave for me.
So, when did they get married? Your parents, were they late teens, like 18, 19?
Yeah, actually, my dad proposed to my mom on the day she graduated high school.
Wow.
So yeah, she was 18. They was both 18. So they got
In
married
cap
young.
and gown? Cap and gown and proposal?
Yeah, yeah, like they didn't go. So he was at her graduation. They didn't go to the same high school, but yeah, she was in a cap and gown, and he proposed to her. So kind of all started on that day.
I wonder if, and it may be projection on my part. My grandparents, of course, met when they were teens as well.
Mm,
Um, for me, it was looking for the perfection they had that caused me to get married the first time around in my late 20s. So, are you
mm.
kind of looking for that relationship, not perfection per se, but that kind of solid relationship that they have found? Is that what's, kept you single this
I
long?
I don't know if that kept me single, but I could say that I did expect to get married early. Like just because of the example of my parents, I thought that was the norm. Like, okay, like all right, at 20, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna find my person, da 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 da. But kind of reality hits you and you realize it ain't the same time period as back then. Uh, so it's just like I probably struggle with that now because I feel like that. All right, I know that I'm supposed to be benefit my person, and now I don't. So now I don't have them. So it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm just out here then. So it's definitely a high bar to live up to, and
Hmm.
sometimes that could be a good thing and a bad thing. But uh yeah, it definitely was something that I expected to kind of like already happen for me.
So, Ken, what's your idea of happiness?
That's a, a heavy question. I feel like I'm in therapy now, God. Um,
Hey, it
no,
could whatever happiness in a relationship, happiness in life.
yeah, yeah,
It could be
yeah.
happiness for today. It could be,
Hmm.
what is your idea? What makes you happy? What can you sit back and say, this would make me happy?
I think it's just all about having people in your life that care about you. And vice versa. It's all about who you surround yourself with. So happiness to me just look like a life that I build that I could be proud of, to be honest with you, whether that's my job, whether that's my family, whether that's eventually, kids and the family. Like I feel like when I look back on my life and I'm proud of what I built, like that's happiness to me.
So, what do you appreciate most about the people around you that is feeding into this happiness for you?
I definitely it hasn't always been perfect for me, like especially with family and all of that. But as an adult, it's a different relationship with your parents as a kid when it comes to as an adult. So I'm kind of in that process now, and we are. of course, like working over our stuff, but it's a healthy relationship now. Like I can talk to them as an adult, and I can actually like learn who my parents are as people and not just a parent, you know? I feel like back in the day, that's not a thing. Like they, my parents, stay in the child place and all of that. But I feel like as an adult, it's like, all right, I'm an adult too. Now we can actually talk like almost like peers. Like who was you before I came about? Like so, I'm feel like I'm learning that aspect of relationship with my parents. So now we at a healthy place, and it's work every day. Obviously, it's setbacks, it's good days and bad days, but um, we definitely are both committed to like making this work as a relationship with me and my family.
Now, I always tell my children the same thing. I have two boys. I say I wasn't born your mother. Okay.
Hmm.
I was
Right.
not born your mother. I had a life
Yeah.
way before, and I grew into the person today. So
Right.
because for me, how it felt wonderful. I understand what you're saying. It felt wonderful when I was an adult, married, and had a kid. Is when I felt my grandparents and my mother were listening to me, like I was finally grown in their eyes. How
Mm.
is that what you're basically saying? Are they now hearing you? It's no longer the voice of a child, but the voice of the man, Cam?
I think so. Like, yeah, like I was always a like black sheep of my family, like wild child type. So I always did what I wanted to do anyway. And my
How
parents
wild
hated.
we talking? How wild are we talking?
I mean, I just didn't want to follow. I got a problem with authority. I don't know why, but it's just like I can't. Like I wanted to do things my way, even as a teenager. I feel like I had everything figured out. Of course, every teenager feel like that. But and it was, and then the whole religion thing didn't follow the path that my family wanted me to take. So I kind of was like on my own, like early on. So
Do you mind
so
sharing what
yeah.
that path was?
Um, Just, I mean, it's nothing complicated. It's just like, again, my parents was a part of a religion that I grew up in, and it was very like kind of strict. So, and that's all I knew, right? So, and as an adult, you start to ask yourself questions, and almost when you grow up in that type of environment, it's like your life is planned out for you. It's like, all right, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do A, B, and C, and this is how you be a good person. This is the path you're supposed to walk. But me, like again, I'm like the black sheep. So I'm like, no, I wanna see what's over there because like no disrespect to what y'all doing, but I wanna go my own way and learn it myself. So
I understand.
yeah,
I went
yeah, so
I
that's how
went
it
to
is.
all girl Catholic school, Roman Catholic at that, and I
Okay.
graduated with mainly friends from the guys in the neighborhood. So I know
Uh,
about the path that they want you on is not the
uh,
path, of course, I led. I
mm,
became successful, but it is definitely not the path they wanted me on. Let me
right.
ask this. You said you had a problem with authority, yet here you are, Cam. Here you are, a firefighter,
I know, right?
uniformed with some authority in the community. How do we get there?
You got me beat. I don't know. Like it's probably the best thing that happened to me because it taught me all the values that I needed to learn. Um, Yeah, like coming out of high school, I kind of was like lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have no skills. Like all I knew was sports. And after high school, I'm like, all right, now what? So I was kind of like in a dark place and kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. So all I knew was that like I wanted to like stay in shape. I wanted to help people and like be a part of like a team type of environment. So I mean, firefighting just made sense. And it took a while for me to get there. Like I got hired when I was 28 on a job, so it take a long time to get on a job. But I don't know, I kind of always had that path of like, all right, I want to help people. As long as I'm on this earth, the best thing that I can do is at least, help somebody else. And I feel like that was the best job to put me in position to help people. So it just made sense.
Full disclosure, why that is so close to my heart. My grandfather, my grandmother's second husband, was 40 years a firefighter in
Oh, okay.
FDNY,
Oh,
Engine
okay.
283, Division 15.
Yeah, yeah. Still
He was.
remember.
You can't forget it. Even though
Right.
he was way retired by the time we still passed by the fire station every so often, and he always had the best and wildest stories. The best and wildest stories.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
time he had to cook, but they switched the potatoes out for rocks in the potato bag. What is
Yeah, the firehouse is its own world, yo. It's like it's crazy, but it's fun. Like it's our house, it's our home. So and we treat each other like family and all the you know I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but all the stuff that comes with that. So yeah.
hey, feel comfortable here, Cam. You are
All
allowed to
right, all right, my
curse.
fault. I ain't trying to offend nobody.
you know, if anybody out there in the chat, welcome everybody. If you are not a fan of the cursing, just block your ears for a moment, just a few
I'm a
seconds. we are,
firefighter, so yeah, we talk like we talk. So it's kind of just like it's how hard for me, but I'm gonna try my best. My mom might be watching.
I'm not going to hold you to that. Okay, I'm not going to hold it to the firefighters. There are firefighters out there that don't curse off duty.
Sure.
So since we know you are a firefighter and
Mm,
you have found your way there, is there a profession that you'd like to try? That if you weren't a firefighter, what
hmm
would you possibly want to do?
It's a good question. I would probably say something sports related. Like whether that be like I don't know, like a basketball scout or like something in a front office or something like that. So yeah, something like in a sport related profession, pretty much.
So are you, in the community in a sports related way, since that is your other
No,
passion?
I thought about it actually. I got a few friends who like Pop Warner football coaches and all of that. So and he tell me about it. He like, Ken, you should come on because it's not just that. It's like you pretty much a father figure to a bunch of little kids in the community, and that's something that we kind of don't have in Philly a lot, or like just anywhere, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's been on my mind. I just work a lot, so I'm like I gotta find time for these extracurricular activities. So, but yeah, that's
Right,
definitely an
because
idea.
your days on and days off, is that still the type of schedule that
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
maintain?
yeah. So like in Philly, it's 4 days on or 4 days off. So so it's like two day works, 2 10-hour days, two 14-hour nights, and then 4 days off. So I get good time off, but with overtime and all of that stuff, I'm just like seem like I'm always at the firehouse. So
It seems like it because,
yeah,
that is a tough schedule. Because of my grandfather and the nature of the schedule and all that, I knew I couldn't, dive into dating in that realm. So I totally respect your schedule and the fact that you could
yeah,
actually maintain that, you know.
hmm
So here on my channel, I always make sure my chat knows that everything is filmed, it is produced. It's a version of the person that they wish for us to see, okay? We know
right.
that.
But
we
everybody else don't know that, so that's the problem. That's the problem. This
we
is the
know that there's
production.
a version of Cam they want us to see. Okay?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we'll continue to have fun. So
hmm
who is who is your favorite person right now? Like
On
favorite
the
person like close to you.
in my life,
Yeah.
for sure my niece, for sure my niece. She just turned 17, which is I don't want to
Whew.
think about that, but I know, right? But no, honestly, when she was born, we were still all in the same house. So and her dad wasn't really involved, and I kind of took on that kind of father figure type with
Mhm.
her, and she just always been my favorite person since day one, to be honest with you. And we always been tied at the hip, and that's just I don't know, like that's just like my person. And we talk all the time. Even as a little kid, she would confide in me. We just always had our special bond, and my family knew that, and they always would like make jokes about it and stuff like that. But no, that's just my person, and she's a big reason in my life why I do what I do and where I'm at in life. So that's definitely my favorite person.
So is the entire fire station going to be there when she's going off for prom to do that, intimidation tactic to her prom date?
Oh no, definitely. We're gonna be like 20 deep in that joint. Like I don't know who it's gonna be, but And we gonna put the fear
Just,
of God in him, definitely.
Cam, just as long as y'all don't show up at the school acting like y'all doing inspections for the for the
Oh
school
yeah,
at prom.
during the prom,
No, no, no.
whole fire truck at the prom. Like, yeah, we gonna have
Time
eyes on that.
out. No, we cannot have the entire ladder chaperoning the prom. No.
Says who?
Well, I am not a Philadelphia taxpayer, so I have no say.
That better be like them
So
church dances where it's like arms width apart.
no, the lights
Definitely.
got to be dimmed. The lights got to be dimmed. We can't have that. So
Okay.
let me do. I want to do a little quiz, but it's going to be
Okay.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia. It's kind of either or. Okay.
Okay.
This is usually about Philadelphia. Since you said you're a native,
Yes.
none of these should be too wicked for you.
All right.
Now, question: Teddy Pendergrass or Patty LaBelle?
Oh God. I'm only 34, right?
Hey, hey, it's gonna get younger. It's gonna get younger.
All right, cool. But nah, that's my parents used to play it all the time. I'll say T Teddy Pendergrass. Like that's something my mom always used to play. So yeah, I'll choose him.
Jill Scott or Jasmine Sullivan?
Ooh. See, now one is kind of older school, one is newer school, so it's like it wouldn't be a judgment without a Jill. So I guess I gotta go OG. I gotta go with Jill Scott.
Okay. Um, Music Soul Child or The Roots?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Music Soul Child. That's I kind of like grew up on him and his idea of love and his song kind of like shaped the way that I viewed it a little bit. So yeah, I got to choose him.
And one thing that is not about Philly, but I know somebody asked me, if y'all watch Ready to Love, everybody mentions Cam's skin is always glowing. So I got to ask you,
The dude.
body butter or baby oil? Come on now.
I, I do the body, but I do the all natural whipped body butter. I choose that. We ain't choosing no baby oil, especially these days. We
Well,
we
that's
we
why I had
gonna
to ask. That's
we
why I
gonna
had
stay
to
away
ask
from
that
that.
question.
We gonna stay away from that. He gave baby oil a bad name. Like
Hey, but some people still use it. Some people certainly still use it. Now, question: did you apply to Rate of Love, or did they come to you?
so I actually applied later in the process. I didn't even know that was coming to Philly. I always made a joke with my friends. I was like, if my next relationship don't work, then I'm gonna sign up for a dating show because obviously I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So and I used to watch the show. I found out it's coming to Philly. I was like, all right, why not? And I fully didn't expect to get picked. I was like, all right, it's like a joke almost that I applied for it. But then they contacted me and they pushed me along the process, pushed me along, and then next thing you know, I'm getting an email saying I'm on the show. And I'm like, what the hell did I sign up for? So it just kind of happened that way for me.
Now, why didn't you think you would be picked? You're a well-spoken, handsome young man in uniform. Why did you think you won't be picked?
I mean, I didn't expect it. I mean, I'm not like a back then, especially like I wasn't a heavy social media dude. I'm thinking they gonna choose actors and people that got experience on TV and whatnot. Like I'm none of that. I'm just a regular firefighter from Philly, and I'm just with no experience in that world. Um, so yeah, I kind of you sign up for things like that and expecting to not get picked, and they like me and they push me through. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm doing this.
But for me, that's Philadelphia. That for me, that
Yeah.
Philadelphia isn't there isn't a much. I'm not shading Philadelphia at all. There isn't much. You know, just about social media folks in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
It's
me, it's grassroots people.
yeah, but also it's TV, right? So like I don't know how this thing go. Like again, I was brand new. I didn't know how it go. I didn't know how reality TV worked. If they got the people that they hire from an acting agency, I don't know how it goes. So and again, like I said, I have no experience in that world, so I didn't expect to get picked, but it just I was scared when when they said I was on the show because I'm like, again, so I didn't, I don't know what I signed up for, but I came in the process like super open-minded. Like, all right, I'm here, so I might as well put my all into it and see where this thing go.
Well, it's wonderful to know that Ready to Love would cast, someone, of the community, that it isn't
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
social media numbers, that it isn't about that. So, what did you think? We did not, once we got to Ready to Love and we saw you in episode 2, we did not get your walk in. We just saw
Okay.
Cam was there.
Oh
So,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to ask, when you walked in, because we didn't see it, who who was of interest to you upon walking in?
yeah. I could tell you when I first walked in, the first person I talked to in the whole process was Coley. That was like the first person I talked to as soon as I walked in. Coley, that's my dog now. Like she cool. She's super just genuine and super just like always bu bubbly and happy and all that stuff. But I could tell it was like a friend vibe, like off the rip. But she was still like the coolest person. But
Yeah, because she asked you about the Dalmatian and sliding down the pole at the
yeah, she was
firehouse.
asking me a lot about, yeah. I was trying to kind of steer away from that a little bit, but I mean, look, if people interested in it, I get it, so I couldn't fault her for that. Um, but as far as attraction, I mean, I'm gonna say like it was Sahara Rose and Tay for the first day, just off of just like first contact, pretty much.
Now we did see your interaction with Rose and with Sahara. What
Mhm.
was your interaction with Tay? Because we did not see it at the
Yeah,
mixer.
it was like a short interaction because it was like a whirlwind that day. Like it was had to talk to this person and this person. I had to make time for that person. But it was just friendly. Like the attraction was there at first with me and Tay, like with me towards Tay. But when I talked to her, I was like, oh, she really the homie. Like so, and she like a little sis in my mind. Even now, like and even like on the show, we used to like talk and just really be friends. And she would give me advice on certain things, and I would give her advice on certain things. So that really like grew. Like early on, it's like it grew to just like, all right, she's my friend. Like there's gonna be like a friendship type thing. So yeah,
Okay.
and also I couldn't step on my man sis toes too, because that man was smitten since day one. So I kind of respect, even though it's a competition a little bit, but I kind of respected that.
Okay, and I understand that, but we're all looking for love. So how is it that
Yeah,
on day
yeah.
one of the mixer, we thinking
Uh-huh.
about not stepping on somebody's toes? We ain't got the arm wrestle, but I still gotta just,
Yeah, yeah.
jockey for
I
position.
mean, look, if I was interested, I'm putting on the boxing gloves and fighting for who I want. But I think that because we really just got on some real cool type vibe, it was like, and he was on us like, okay, like I'm gonna let somebody like that's really into her, talk to her rather than me just be like, all right, I know that's not just like a homie type vibe. So yeah,
Could
so
have
I just
been
I just
blocking
respect
your
that.
blessing. Could have been blocking your blessing right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's true. I'm a quick judge of character though, so I'm just like, even if you're a cool person, like I don't know, it's a certain vibe you get from people that the position they gonna play in your life.
Yeah, because because somebody else who had a wonderful brotherly talk with him had no problem going on a date with his girl. His girl.
I know, right? Real talk. But again, at the end of the day, we all men. If I was interested in her, again, I'd be, even though that's my homie, I'm on my own journey, right? So I still would have fought for it. But yeah, we all men. It's a competition at the end of the day because we all dating the same people. It's kind of weird, but we all here for a reason. So I get it.
We saw you show your interest, or, at least in your gaze, show your interest, and with your words to Sahara. That was certainly came across the screen quite strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to what to say about that. We just clicked. Like honestly, so our like me and her, we found out we from the same area in Philly, so kind of just click. Like again, all that rah-rah stuff really don't scare me for real. Like I don't, it kind of, I look past that. Um, and she had like a great personality, and it kind of like attracted me to her. So, I just, I'm all about energy. I'm all about vibes and how we connect and personality. And I don't know, it's like the first day is just it's kind of like fell into place like that.
And I did remember you saying that once you get past that hard shell, that Sahara just opens up to you. And I
Mm.
can see that. She's one of my favorites. Sahara has been consistent,
Yeah.
with her quirks, with her jokes. When she told Will on the first mixer, I don't know none of y'all, she was
Oh yeah, yeah,
consistent.
yeah, yeah. Right, exactly. And again, that was before I even knew she was on the first mixer, so I didn't know any of that. But
Would that have been any weight to you as far as your perception of her?
honestly, probably because I'm like, all right, what happened in the first mixer where you got voted off, or why didn't they like you? And I would have just put a preconceived opinion about her in my head instead of me learning her organically. Um, so yeah, I'm glad I didn't know. So I kind of just like I got the chance to get to know her organically.
Yeah, I really, every time folks would say something, Sahara being very boisterous, I
Mhm.
would just say it's Philly. And, for me,
Definitely, yeah.
it's Philly. It's not just Philly. That could be a girl in Brownsville, Cypress Hills, Bed-Stuy.
Hmm.
That is just a regular lady to me. That's just a regular
Yeah,
lady to me.
yeah. Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying, like, yo, Philly rough, or what type of people they got on the season. But it's like, if you're not from Philly, like, you're not gonna understand it. And we don't apologize for how we act, be brash. It is what it is. So if you don't know, it's gonna come across like, oh, that they ratchet, like, but it's not, it's just like an energy. I don't know what it is. But and I also was attracted to her because she reminded me of like a lot of women in my past that I talked to. And they all didn't they all didn't end pretty good, but it was that like familiarity, like, all right, I'm comfortable with this. So it's kind of just like I was used to it. So at first I
Mm.
thought I was kind of like falling into bad habits a little bit, because I'm like, damn, Cam, you want here to not do what you did in the past. So I think that initially it was just like it felt comfortable. So I'm just like, so that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, because she seemed very receptive to your glances and advances, which for me, what came across the screen at that table when y'all talked,
Hmm.
y'all, that's episode 2. She, I saw the softer side of Sahara, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
When,
yeah, yeah.
you made her blush for all intents and purposes by your gaze. So that's
Hmm.
why I was like, okay, I can see there's more to Sahara than what they're editing her to be on the screen for us.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong though. That's Sahara 100%. You feel me? Like that's her. That's a big part of her personality. So but I kind of liked her because I don't know. I feel like everybody was just like trying to mask who they was for the cameras a little bit. But Sahara is literally just one way,
Yeah,
and
consistent.
I yeah, consistent. And I don't feel like we in through the bullshit of your personality that you trying to, what you want me to see pretty much. She like, look, this is me, good or bad. Either you like it or you don't, or this and that. I'm like, all right, bet. Like you giving me the choice now. And I like that. Somebody that's because I was coming to it like that. Like I'm a little laid back and chill and stuff like that. I wasn't trying to operate outside of myself. I was just me and she was just her. So it kind of just worked like that.
Yeah, like yesterday, just Rhonda 01 did have an interview with Hussein on her channel, and he said, he didn't want to weed through the representatives. So
Right. Exactly.
to
Exactly.
get to really the core of the person. So
Yeah.
the other person that you connected with, and you had a very good conversation, the snippet we saw was Rose.
Mhm.
And you made mention, you had not dated someone who one had children.
Mhm.
Was that a conscious effort, or that's how life just turned out for you?
I mean, honestly, that's just how life turned out for me, honestly. It's not like I was opposed to it. I just didn't have experience in it. So that was a new experience for me, and dating somebody that had a kid and being open to that. And her kid is older too, so I guess it kind of makes it a little easier. Like he's a grown man, so It's not like I'm trying to raise anybody else's kid. So yeah, so it's just worked out for me like that.
Do you think being there and helping raise your niece is what led you to believe you would be open if he was younger, let's say?
Um, yeah, like I wouldn't be totally oblivious to, raising a child. But yeah, so I don't know if it made me open. I guess it made me fall back a little bit from even having kids because I felt like, all right, I got my niece, I don't need a kid. So yeah, I feel like that I kind of got experience with trying to, help raising the kid, even though it's not my kid, but it helped raising the kid. And I'm just not scared. I love kids, like I really do. So it's not like I hate kids and I don't want to be around them. So I
Right.
feel like I would be comfortable with it.
Rose also brought up the religious conversation,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I was wondering, like, okay, it's real important to Rose, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
and the relationship with
Yeah.
family. I said, okay, we going backpedal. We just lost 2 points.
Right. Right. Yeah, that conversation kind of got chopped up a lot. I'm gonna start off with saying like that was the best conversation of the day I had with Rose. Like I literally walked away that day saying like, yeah, I need to see what that's like. I need to see what that's about more. So, but when it comes to the religion, like I always said that I'm spiritual but not religious, right? But it made it seem like I was like damn near like an atheist pretty much. Like Cam don't believe in nothing. He just out here. I'm like, nah, like, but and she understood that, right? Like, so
Yes,
she preferred, a God-fearing Christian man, but I told her like, look, I mean, that's my background. That's not what I am now, but I'm very spiritual, and she liked the fact that I was spiritual, but I just didn't share her exact beliefs with that. So that's kind of why that door didn't just close at that first talk. So yes,
but
but yeah, that kind of got chopped up a little bit.
yeah, we see the chops. We see the
Yeah, yeah,
cutaways.
yeah, yeah, definitely,
So that's
definitely.
why that first date you had with Rose, individual date, you were comfortable, saying a prayer with her over the meal. Was that?
Mm.
I know Rose, seemed very open and was okay with that, but
Yeah, yeah.
was that all?
Um,
Was that all that happened? With that date, or
okay.
did y'all have more religious talk?
That's all pretty much she's gonna challenge me. She's gonna be like, look, this is what I do. Like I know what you do, but this is what I do. And if you're interested in me, you gotta be interested in this too. Not and she said, like, you don't gotta come to church with me every Sunday, but you gotta understand that this is a part of my life. And that's why I had that conversation saying, like, look, I don't want to change you. I'm not here to be like, hey, I want you to do what I'm doing. Like I want to respect what you're doing. I want you to respect me at the same time. So the prayer was a little awkward at first because I was just like, whatever, but I felt like that was a way for me to step outside my comfort zone and be open-minded and show this person that I care about, look, I'm willing to step out my comfort zone in order to understand your world. So yeah, like I said, a little awkward a little bit, and but like I said, I had to show her that, I'm okay with what you do as long as you don't judge what I do, and we'll be fine.
So is that the challenge that can lead to further growth for you? Is what kind of pulls you in with the ladies that you date?
But as far as just like being
Like
like
as you
open,
said, Rose had her, she's saying, "Hey, this is what I expect," and it's kind of
right,
like a
right.
challenge to and kind of drawing you out and allowing you to grow or get back to, the religious aspect. Is that,
Yeah.
kind of growing of your mind, challenging you, pulling you out of your comfort zone, and allowing you to either get back to something or learn something? What draws you in when you are dating someone?
I think it's it makes me think outside of myself because I'm a single guy. I can be super selfish. I'm not gonna lie. I can be super selfish. I can be like, because again, I'm single. I've been on my own. My whole childhood growing up, I had to live for other people and do what other people told me to do. And as an adult, when I get my freedom, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do what I want to do at all times because I've been held in a box for so long, being raised. So I could kind of fall into that a little bit. And so definitely like when I'm in a relationship, it makes me better. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm in a relationship, it makes me better because it forces me to care about somebody outside of myself. So I think in that situation, it did. It helped me to grow because it's like, okay, here's this person that I like. All right, you can't be selfish no more. You can't be like, all right, you got to be open-minded and understanding if you want to find who you want to find. So yeah, it definitely did help me to not be selfish and to be more open-minded with other people things.
So the next mixer, we,
Mm.
and I only say this, from, from a granddaughter of a fireman. The fire persons came head to head. You and Deanna met
Yeah,
at that mixer.
step on that.
What we saw was, I would call a sunnin, or not very open or receptive to your courting, is the best way
Hmm.
I can say it. Was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
as tense as we saw it, or was that tension created for our viewing pleasure?
It was tense, but it was chopped up like everything is. But it was tense because I never expressed interest in her. So they gotta chop it up to make some storylines look like how they look like. Um, but they wanted us to talk. Obviously, we two firefighters, da 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 da, and all of that. And this conversation started off friendly. Like, I mean, I was friendly. I'm like, I don't want to be in that type of mean type energy, right? So, whole conversation, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, even throughout the whole when she was saying what she was saying, I'm smiling like I don't care for real. But the conversation started off friendly, like, oh, what fire station you work at? Oh, you work here? Oh, okay, all right. Have you seen me around? I haven't seen you around. No, okay. That's like super friendly, right? And then it kind of shifts to like her telling me all the reasons why she wouldn't date me. And I'm like, okay, I don't remember asking that question, but sure, you tell me everything that's bad about me. Like, and she was just saying it. It just caught me off guard, honestly. Like, honestly, I don't like that's literally the one and only conversation that I ever had with her in life. I don't know where the energy came from, and I still don't know where the energy comes from because uh it's still tension from what I hear from her saying stuff to other people. I wish her the best. Like I'm on my healing journey.
Okay.
I wish her the best. Like honestly, I don't got anything bad to say about her, but I just know. I don't know. I don't know what the issue
Hey,
is.
we saw in the episodes, of course, y'all, we only talking about till episode 7. We saw,
Yeah,
another
yeah,
date that she had where the gentleman got the same kind of treatment. So I would love to talk to
yeah.
Diana and find out where that is, because it is definitely not because you're a firefighter. Okay, even though she said she won't date firefighters.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if somebody else can find that information out, go ahead and try. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. That was the weird interaction. That was a weird interaction for me because I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Like I thought we was all here being friendly, but the animosity, I just didn't know where it came from, and again, I still don't know. And it still seems like she's holding on to it, up until now. So. Again, I don't
Interesting.
know. Yeah, I'm like I've learned over the years that how people treat you has more to do with them and less about you. So
Exactly.
whatever she working out, hope that she works it out. But literally, like I know it chopped it up and made it seem like I was like intimidated. I'm never intimidated by anything. You know what I mean, um, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I can't call it.
I can't call it either. We know it's chopped
Yeah.
and sliced, and I was like, is Cam staying there because they told him he couldn't get off the X? It's like, I'll be like, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you. Exit stage
Uh-huh.
right. But I was like, why is Cam still there?
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I'm not scared enough as I wanted to hear her. I'm like, all right, you think I'm sure? Okay, what else? I'm a firefighter. Okay, what else? Like, And again, I was laughing the whole time because I didn't take anything seriously. I didn't take anything to heart. Cause I'm like, I don't know you, and but it seems like you have a lot to say about me. So, you know,
Yeah. That to me
it
is
was
the
weird.
hard part. Yeah, that to me is the
Yeah.
hard part. You don't know yet, you're saying so much, and I know it's ironic me saying that since I do recaps of the show. I technically don't know you guys,
Right,
but
right.
I try to be, but let me ask you this, because for me, I think, there needs to be some kind of understanding with Diana, as far my understanding.
Mm,
What To me, I see a bit of a difference between Diana being very, firm, and Sahara being very firm.
mm.
But for me, it's a two shades of Philly, you know.
It, yeah, because it's both rough to the extent like I don't want to use that word when it comes to black women, but it's like yeah, it's aggressive because we all aggressive in Philly. That's just how we operate. But it's just I don't know. Like you said, it's just two sides to it, and then
Yeah.
one can come off aggressive but friendly, and one can come off aggressive but just rude.
I
Um,
say, yeah,
yeah.
one is more firm, but still open to change, or open to learning more. That's how I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
I would say.
Um, yeah, I mean, again, I was just there to learn people, to get to know people and stuff like that, and be open-minded, but not to disrespect anybody. And
Right.
I'm a big personality person. Like you can, I put a lot of weight on somebody's personality. So when I kind of peep that, especially when it's unprovoked. When I peeped that, I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to talk to you anymore. Like throughout this whole process, we don't have to talk anymore. I'd rather protect my peace than anything. I don't want to crash out or nothing because I definitely could have. But again, I'm not on that type time no more. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to
Good
protect my
good to
peace and
know.
find my person. Yeah, yeah, you can't, it's all about growth, you know?
Yes, yes, we are
Yeah,
maturing
yeah,
and growing. So
for
as you
sure.
say that, the only dates cam though we have seen thus far is you almost eliminating Sahara
Over and over and over again.
over and over and over again. Now, are you volunteering? Are you volunteering
Mm,
because you know anybody else will get it, or are you volunteering because it gives you more quality time with Sahara? I'm just giving you
So
an exit route.
I'm be honest. So I'm not volunteering. Like I like Sahara, but I'm not at that point in time. I'm not volunteering. But production is seeing that I'm the only one that could talk to her. So I'm kind of
Mm.
like, so they put me in the line of fire because don't nobody else want that smoke. So they like, oh, just put Cam in here. He'll take care of it. And I'm just like, God, y'all could choose somebody else to tell her some bad news. I'm tired of getting the attitude. But nah, but she knows, I don't know, like she knows how to respond to me and I know again, we just vibe on a totally different level. And if somebody else told her that information, she would have received it even worse than when she received it with me, even though that wasn't really that good. But yeah, I just think production was like, all right, Cam, he knows how to talk to her, send him to talk to her. So yeah.
I would think Hussein or Khalil would have been able to talk to Sahara, but
Yeah, I guess they could have too, but I guess they ain't want to chance it. They like, look, we know Cam could talk to us, so we ain't trying to have no crash outs on camera, so just send him and he'll just like cool the fire pretty much.
right. And then they kept putting her with Fritz on his, on dates, or even
Yeah.
with his almost elimination. Now, in
Mm,
talking about that, episode 6 was the last men's lounge we saw. Okay,
hmm
y'all, we can only talk about up to episode 7, y'all, so we don't violate NDAs and Cam could actually continue to interview out here.
Exactly. Don't get me sued out here.
Right. So that men's lounge, and I had to watch it and watch it and watch it again before this interview. You said personality, and Fritz came with an agenda, it seemed like. Okay, an
Yeah,
agenda.
yeah.
Get Sahara out of here. And you
hmm
stepped up, and I saw that Francisco had your back.
Right.
That's what we saw. Somebody else could have had your back. But what what was going on other than we heard him help me get her out of here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep on
Hmm.
saying her name. We getting the numbers up. She gonna be out of here.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of snap for you? Like, no, I need to say this out loud.
Because eh, he was saying that for a while, that in the lounge. Like it wasn't just he said something 3 times and I just snapped at him. It literally was in 10 minutes, 15 minutes of just him hearing like me hearing small things. And that's why Cisco, because he peeped the same thing. And I just, and after a while, it's like I get what your opinion is, and I get if you don't like a person, that's fine. Like I'm not trying to make people like her. But at the same time, we in the men's lounge, you hear who everybody top connection is, and I'm like, all right, if I said, hey, Sahara's one of my top connections, and then after that, you sitting across from me actively saying like, yo, let's get Sahara out of here. It's like I take that to heart. At the end of the day, we all men and we not here to be played with by other grown men. So I don't know. He kind of viewed it as me trying to flex for some reason, which is kind of a weird take for him to have. Um, but no, I'm just a grown ass man that's going to stand up for what I'm talking about and who I'm talking to. So it's kind of weird. And again, I don't want to stir the pot with anybody or anything like that because at the end of the day, all love to everybody. But I know that he kind of like was doing interviews and stuff like saying like, oh, like, well, he knows it was bullshit. He knows that he was just trying like, no, like everybody in that lounge can tell the same story that I'm saying. Like you was drawn, like you was doing too much. And I know he wasn't convincing anybody because nobody was being convinced by him. But at the same time, it's like I don't care if nobody's being convinced by you, but you're not going to just keep on saying something out your mouth I feel like it's a jab at me a little bit if you know that I'm talking to her. So it's I don't know. It's TV. This whole TV shit is weird to me. Like people got certain personalities.
Hmm.
It's all weird to me, but at the end of the day, that's real life. And whether we on front of a camera, whether we on the street, whether we alone, if you say something that I feel like is wrong or is a jab at me, or you come at somebody that I care about, I'm going to carry it the same way, no matter what we doing and where we at. So I think he's trying to downplay it, just trying to save himself pretty much. But nah, everybody can tell the same story that I'm saying, and I didn't respect him for that. But
Because my question would be,
yeah.
what is the purpose then of saying it over and over if not to convince? That would be my question.
Yeah, it was
if
just
if it's
and
if you're not convincing and you want to say something, why would you keep on saying over and over?
right. And that's what I was just getting confused about. Like, and then when I called him out on it, he just tried to be like, "Well, I'm not doing that." I'm like, "Bro,
Right.
we
It's a word
all just sat
semantics.
here and heard you say what you say. Just say what you said." So I'm like, you can't now say, "Well, hey, I'm not kind of convinced nobody, bro." It again, weird situation with weird people, and respect to him. But it was just a weird situation. I don't understand people sometimes.
Now we have talked to members of Ready to Love from previous seasons, so they did share with us after their season that you have more than one person to put on the bottom. So for me, it was
Mhm.
weird to keep on hearing him campaign. I'm thinking this is
Yeah,
editing because there are other names he must have said, and they're just pushing the friction,
right.
triangle, not a love triangle, but friction triangle with you,
Mhm.
him, and Sahara. That's what I was trying to get
Probably.
to the bottom of, but it was very interesting in that men's lounge. The ones that were quiet that we saw, and the
Hmm.
ones that did not speak up. But I
Yeah, because
I
I'm
don't
saying
know, but
like,
go ahead.
oh my father, but see, yeah, me and Francisco cool, and like I said, like me and Francisco, we kind of clicks on the day one on our first mixer. We just got cool like that. So. but they all seen it because I pull Naeem to the side. I pulled the six aside. I'm like, yo, I'm about to crash out if he keeps talking. And Naeem could tell you that too. I was like, he's like, okay, what's wrong? I was like, yo, I'm about to crash out. And then he like that, and then so and then we sat back down, we started talking again, and then he kept on with the bullshit. So I'm like, all right, now it's like it's too much now. It's too much. Now you literally playing in my face. So
Now I gotta stomp my
yeah.
Tims and say it with my chest.
Yeah, pretty much, because we all grown men and we gonna act like grown men sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm of the belief
Mm,
that production has been put in Sahara on the bottom. Can you
mm.
say whether in the men's lounge there were other gentlemen that were feeling Sahara? That's why she was saved those times?
Um,
Because you can't be the only
um,
boat to save her.
yeah, but I think that nobody really had her at the bottom, but they just all made it
Gotcha.
clear that she was the homie vibe type. Like nobody
Gotcha.
really, um, I mean, I guess you could say that's the bottom, but nobody really wanted to pursue her in that way because she was just a cool person. Um,
Okay.
the same thing happened with Rocky. Like we was kind of all sad that she went home because she was Rocky is possibly the coolest person, the coolest girl in the whole cast. Like I love Rocky honestly, but nobody had her at the top and nobody had her at the bottom. So production was like, all right, y'all not saying Rocky, so where is she at? So I think it's like a thing like that, how everybody just kind of view her as the homie, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I really like Rocky. I would, certainly be open to interviewing Rocky and talking to her because, Rocky, is reminds me of so many people I grew up with and that wonderful
Yeah.
human being. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Um,
Rock cool. Like if it was just based off of personality, like just across the board, like everybody was cool with Rock. Like she was cool. So when she went home, we was literally all sad because like, damn, we didn't want to send her home, but they was like, yo, this is not a show to make friends. It's a show to find
right.
love. So it had to happen that way. So yeah.
So, other than that, were there any dates we did not see? Of course, up until episode 7. Did you do any dates? Because all we saw, as I said, Rose and Sahara. Sahara almost elimination dates. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, besides the one that was over my house at my house, with Hussein, Tay, and Rocky.
yes.
Uh, yeah, up until that point, that's kind of the only dates that I had.
Was it your scheduling? I mean, I thought that's what I was saying. I said, Cam ain't on camera too much because of his scheduling. He out there fighting
Maybe
a fire
because
or rescuing someone.
yeah, because obviously it's certain days. I told him like I'm like, look, there's certain days that I just can't do it. So I mean, yeah, that probably had a point in time because they like, yo, Cam, can you do it? I'm like, no, I'm literally at work right now. I gotta work later. So I mean, that might have been a reason. But I feel like it was other people that was getting less dates than I was getting. So I think it's
Right.
just how it all played out. Like at least I got my date with Rosen, and yeah. And the only thing I was mad about is that I didn't have a proper date with Sahara. Every time I was with Sahara, it was me telling her that she was about to get kicked off. So it wasn't like a
Right.
real proper date. Like it was time together, but it was like so that's why I was always tension because it's like, damn, every time we talk, like I'm telling you some bad news, and she got super frustrated by it. And I get it though. Like, so I kind of had to talk her down a lot throughout the season because she was like, no, because every time they pair me with you gotta tell me some bad news. I'm like, I know, like, but to just enjoy your time with me. And yeah, so I kind of
But
had
is
to.
it bad news because you keep telling her that she's staying? I mean, is it
Yeah,
bad?
but it's hard to keep hearing stuff about you. You feel me? It's hard to
Yes.
keep hearing like,
Yes.
oh, the guy said A, B, and C, and she like, oh, I heard this 3 times already. Like, either they're gonna kick me off or not. So it could wear because we all still human. So it could wear on you. And also she's into me, but every time she sees me, I gotta tell her something bad. So it kind of played with her a little bit, and she kind of was like going through a lot and all that. But I'd rather have like a real date with her instead of just me telling her bad news and then possibly trying to have a date after that.
because your last date with her, elimination date with her, you were like there was a campaign against her.
Hmm.
I
So
guess
yeah,
was
that
that
I that
the
that was a
that the sly way of saying Fritz is trying to get people against you?
so I try to tightrope that because we're not supposed to talk about what happened in the lounge or whatnot. So and they told me I asked they're like yo as long as you don't say names then you good. So I didn't say no names.
Okay.
So I was like
Okay.
yeah something happened in the lounge and because that was like right was it the same day? It might have been the same day. So I was still kind of heated myself about everything that happened. So I like yeah it was like a little something in the lounge that happened. Can't really say what but you know, certain people was kind of trying to campaign against you, and I had to talk to them. So yeah, so I try to tightrope that a little as best as I could without saying names, but it is what it is.
So definitely production is telling us two things. First, they're saying what's said in the lounge stays in the lounge. Now we got to tell them what's happening in a coded way. Okay, I see you. We've seen
Yeah, they just
production
said they
around
just
here.
yeah, no hate on production, but they just said because I clarified, I'm like, yo, this just happened. What are we talking about on this date? And they're like, all right, you can say it, but don't give names, don't give specifics of what happened. Just say something happened, and then this is why you hear it type. So
Okay, so
I try my best.
they give you leeway to say it as best you could.
Right, yeah, yeah. It's not like they don't feed us lines, nothing like that. That's one thing they don't. They don't feed us lines and tell us, hey, say this, and that in this order. They just like, yo, this is what you got to tell her. Tell her how you need to tell her. So, yeah.
So definitely for the second half, y'all, they are on hiatus. Right
Hmm.
now, we don't know what's going on. We didn't know about a mid-season finale. Did you know about a mid-season?
Nah, I found out when everybody else found out, actually. Because they said it at the end of the episode, so I didn't even know until somebody hit me up saying like, "Yo, y'all on break till August or whatever." I'm like, I don't know. It's going to be on next Friday, and then I went back and watched the end of the episode. I'm like, oh, all right, I guess. Like, so, and then we all got an email after that saying like, yeah, it's going to be on hiatus until the summer. I'm like, all right, y'all could have told us this in the beginning, but I
Hey,
don't
we
know.
had all kinds of speculation around here from there ain't enough people in the crew for editing, so they got to edit, use the time to edit. Maybe
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
legalities happening behind the scene. We had all kinds of stuff we were speculating over here. Um,
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I
well, that'll ramp up your popularity in Philly. You were popular, in the early part of spring, and now summer you're gonna be
don't know. Yeah, it kind of extends my 15 minutes of fame a little bit.
right, just a little bit, 15 and
Yeah,
a half minutes. Okay, we're
15
gonna
and
be
a
taking
half.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it
If
is weird for me, especially like that whole like people recognizing you off the show. Like actually I was in 2 weeks ago, I just got back from Greece and somebody like I was in Greece and somebody stopped me like, hey, ain't you that guy on the show? And I'm like, bro, I'm in Greece. How y'all like what are y'all this play over here? But she ended up being from Los Angeles. I was taking a vacation in Greece and all that. So but yeah, it's still a little weird to me, but I guess I'm getting used to it, I guess.
Ooh, that's weird. I remember my first encounter in Atlanta, and it was like very weird when someone yelled out my name.
Yeah.
It was like, ooh, no, I'm in hiding.
Right, exactly. But it's kind of cool a little bit, but it's a lot sometimes.
So you mentioned Greece.
Mm.
Where have you traveled to? What do you enjoy while traveling?
I like to travel a lot actually. Like it's funny. I always wanted to move outside of Philly, but because I got my job, I'm kind of like tied to Philly right now. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just travel a lot and see the world that way. And so, yeah, I've been within the past like 3 years, I've been traveling like crazy. Like, hit Brazil, St. Croix, Greece, Costa Rica. Yeah, I've been a lot like I've been out because me and my friend we got like a little travel group that we just go outside. We travel
Awesome,
together like other firefighters. So
awesome.
we just like to travel and have fun and see different parts of the world. Some people that grow up in Philly that only know Philly and not. are not privileged enough to see the outside world. So I don't take that lightly.
Yeah, I will say I drag my husband just about everywhere. We explored just about everywhere. We were just talking last year, this week last year we were in Costa Rica. Um
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Driving through, we did I did a whole thing of, I don't like to be limited, so I don't like groups.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
an
I
only
got you.
child, so that may be it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we rented a car and did our own thing,
Hmm.
and we had a blast, but we ended up in the jungles somewhere, and
Yeah,
you know,
that's where I was at in Costa Rica. Like actually I went to Costa Rica as like a healing retreat. Like it's this woman that hosts healing retreats with she teaches yoga and all of that stuff. So we was in the middle of a rainforest right next to the volcano and the hot springs. So yeah, it was definitely dope.
yeah, we did all that. I dragged him Portugal. I went to Spain without him, and yeah, we're planning Italy because we're just, as you said, so much you haven't explored. While I was growing up, my grandparents were entertainers, so we traveled a lot. So
Oh, okay.
traveling is a
Yeah.
bug. And my grandfather always said two things: don't hit the same place twice because there's too much to see,
Right.
and don't hit the
That's
same place
true.
twice. And his thing was always do one trip within the U.S. and one trip outside of the U.S. because there's
Yeah.
still so much to see
It's a
here
big
as
world.
well.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, exactly.
Exactly. And I have to say, I took Spanish all the years of high school, and they gave me a trip at the time was Venezuela to be able to practice and use my Spanish. And let's just say it was horrible because
Oh yeah.
nobody tells you what you learn in the classroom and what they speak. The dialect is completely
That's not how they really talk. Like, yeah, 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 exactly. That's like learning proper English and you saying everything super proper, and it's like, no, that's not how we talk. So, like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
but it
definitely.
did, it did, it did. I went to Valencia, Spain, and it did help me communicate with the locals there. So I will say it has worked its way back into my life.
Yeah. Hey, I'll say it played its part. It helps you some way, somehow.
So I want to get to some of the questions that folks have
Okay.
put in the chat. Remember, folks, if you put a Q in the front, then I, held it back. Some of these he would not be able to answer, but hey, in full transparency, I will ask the question. So Sheila's
Okay.
asking, has the reunion been taped already? You can, of course, decline to answer if you cannot.
Okay, but yeah, we taped the reunion already.
Okay, reunion has been
Yeah.
taped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think you answered it. Did you meet Deanna at work before the show?
No, I didn't know her. Like I've seen her maybe once, like we did like an event over time, but I never talked to her. I never like been in the same space as her. So yeah, I didn't know her at all before the show.
Chicago Girl asks, how did your family feel about you going on Ready to Love? Do you regret participating or would you do anything differently? Of course, till episode 7.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, my family is pretty much like low key out the spotlight. So when I joined, my mom just said, "Just don't do nothing to embarrass us," and I'm like, I can't guarantee that, but I'm gonna try." So, so yeah, but at the end of the day, like again, they was super worried, but then when the show come out, they the most excited people about it. So, it is kind of awkward having your family see you in certain lights as far as like you talking about love and relationships and your past traumas and just putting yourself out there. But I kind of told them like, look, I gotta stay true to myself. I gotta, walk in my truth. And if y'all don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But I'm gonna just be me, and kind of that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, I don't have a lid over my mouth with my family, so they're
Yeah,
used
me
to it.
neither. Yeah, same. Again, the black sheep of the family. So they hate me for what I say sometimes, but they already know what it is. So it's just they used to it.
Yeah, but my mother's famous for saying, if you behave that way, young lady, you'll never find yourself a husband. And I'm like, okay. Um,
And you got one, so
I'm on my second.
so you overachiever. So
Right.
that's all that mean. That's all that mean.
Now, Phil asked, did they feed y'all this season? Because we didn't see a whole lot of food though. We saw we saw
People
we
keep
saw
asking
plates on
that,
the
yo.
table.
Like,
Did you get to eat it?
People keep asking that. That's funny. On the dates, yeah, that's kind of weird because we order food, but we gotta talk. So we usually order food and then we get to pack it up and take it home because we don't got time to really eat the whole meal on camera. So yeah, so we usually take it home. So they did feed us. We wasn't starving out here.
Um, um, Only me 23 asked, does your station have a calendar?
Somebody trying to see me oiled up. No, no, we don't. They actually stopped that like a while ago. I don't know why. Maybe public image or public opinion, whatever. But no, my station don't have a calendar, and
Okay.
80% of firefighters you wouldn't want to see anyway. So,
Mm, okay. Yeah. I don't know. Passing by some of these firehouses out here, they're still
oh,
looking good.
maybe
They keep you all in
that's
shape.
yeah, that's a question for y'all to answer. Yeah. I
we
don't
can
know.
we can have we can have a petition, okay, y'all. We can have a petition, and
And yeah,
I
have a
thought,
petition. I'll do it if y'all have a petition. I'll be January. First one, first page.
oh, is that when your birthday is in January,
It's actually in February. I'm
in
Aquarius.
February?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, but you want to be the first. You want to be the first picture in the calendar. You want to start us off right.
yeah. I gotta set the tone. Y'all funny, yeah.
I know we are funny. Just
Hmm.
Rhonda 01, who interviewed Hussein yesterday. Y'all make sure you go to her channel and check out
Uh-huh.
that interview. Said, are your bubbles green or blue?
It's blue. I'm a Apple user, so it's definitely gonna be blue. I don't give it out no fake phone numbers. We not giving out no well, what not say no Google Voice numbers. We're not doing that. I
Well,
just block you if I don't want to talk to you no more.
fake or not, you got a number that you didn't use. I love that line.
That
I'm
too.
sorry. I didn't like the
That's
premise,
the
but I love the line.
yeah. That's the debate. You know, man, you had the number, so you had a number at least.
Hey, I'm in my era of being single and dating, I utilize that option quite a lot.
Okay, I guess yeah, it could be a protection thing too for women, so I could understand that.
Right. And Ari says, are there any teasers he can make without giving anything away? If not, we appreciate you for taking the time to do the interview.
Mhm.
Any teasers other
Um,
than y'all coming back this summer?
I'm about to say yeah. Other than that, yeah, they told us August 1st. Hopefully, it stays August 1st. Um. It just get so in the beginning, the first half of the season is super fast paced because there's 20 people, so they got to get through a lot of storylines. So the second half, I'm hoping that it slows down and it can really dive in depth with like who we are and who we really date and just get like slow down and really get to know us because it's hard to get to know 20 people and y'all don't even remember our names and all that. Like, but no, so hopefully it slows down and you'll get to know us and just prepare for fireworks because that reunion is crazy.
Ooh, fireworks. Should we bring
Yeah,
our shades, our glasses? Is there a whole lot of shade going on too?
yeah. I didn't enjoy it, but it's because I'm not really into the toxic type shit. Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, for people that like drama, y'all gonna love it.
Mm. Now, we could have started with this, but I would like to end with this.
Mhm.
Cam, what right now makes you ready to love?
Um, I would say the work that I put in on myself. Like I'm very aware of my flaws. I'm very aware that I'm not perfect and I don't pretend to be perfect. But I'm aware, and I'm aware of what I need to work on. I'm heavy into like therapy. I'm heavy into mental health and self-care and taking care of yourself. And nobody's gonna be perfect, but if you are at least aware of your flaws, then you can at least put the effort into trying to fix them. Like there's people out here that's has trauma that don't even know what's wrong with them, so they not even at step one yet. But if you can be aware of it, then that's the most important step. But so yeah, so as far as ready to love, like yeah, because I know what I want. I'm super picky. unfortunately. But so it's kind of hard for me sometimes to find what I want. But I know my flaws, I know what I need to work on, and I won't ever stop working on myself. And that's the most important quality I would say when it comes to like trying to find somebody, trying to find a long lasting relationship. Not saying like here it is just me and like you got to take me or leave me. Like, no, you got to work on yourself for you and for your partner. So I just think just based off of that, I think I'll do good in the love category.
I read somewhere when asked that you said, I think the man I've become is worthy of someone who would appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, that's heavy because you do all this work on yourself, and it's like I know what I deserve because I've been through hell trying to work on myself, and I want somebody to be able to see that and to appreciate that. Um, for a lot of my life, I felt unseen. Like I felt like I was just alone fighting these battles. But if somebody comes along and they see me and they see the work that I put in, they see how far I came from what I used to be like, and they appreciate that about me, like that's all I need. To feel love is to feel seen. So that would be ideal for me.
Well said. I appreciate this, Cam. I think this was a very enjoyable interview for myself, and I hope the audience did as well. I know your goal is marriage and finding your person, and I hope if whether it is on Ready to Love or not, I really do hope that you do find your person and you do find the happiness that you are seeking and you have worked so hard to achieve.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to allow me to come on here. I really watch y'all recaps of every episode. So I'm like, all
Ooh,
right, I
ooh,
gotta
and
so
you
yeah,
agreed to
so
come.
right, exactly. I went, full force in the Lions then, like, all right, I know what it's hitting for. But also like y'all gotta see who I am, instead of, what they show on TV. So I appreciate the opportunity.
I do appreciate the opportunity for my channel that is certainly still growing. And
Mhm.
you are certainly helping with that, and I do appreciate it. So let us know, how can we support you, Cam? You are a firefighter, you're in the
Mhm.
community, um, and I know that you do something very toxic.
That's funny. Yeah, so like during the after we shot the episode again, I'm cool with Francisco. So me and Francisco started this podcast called Toxic Perspective. We on all platforms, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, all of that. And yeah, the biggest thing to do is just follow that, support. We talk about we have our fun, we talk about relationships, we talk about stupid stuff, but the main premise of the podcast is growth. Like, how can we grow from our toxic ways? Because we all toxic in some way. How can we grow from that? So we just talk about things plainly. Like, yeah, we put all of our bad on the table and like, look, y'all, this was wrong with us, but we talking about it, but we trying to work on it and we trying to grow from it. So, y'all might have some like, people watch it had comments like, oh, what they toxic, why they think that? Or they, have all different type of opinions. But I'm like, yeah, I know. But this is you gotta get better. You gotta talk about it first to be better, to get better from it. So yeah, so if y'all want to support that, I appreciate that. Toxic Perspective. Subscribe on YouTube. We trying to really grow the YouTube channel, but support us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, all of that. So I definitely would appreciate that.
And y'all toxic, I will put the link in the description once we are complete here. I will put the link to Toxic Perspective. As he said, it is with Francisco and a lovely young lady.
Jazz. Yeah.
Jazz is my cousin from Philly. I'm sorry, Jazz is my cousin, and every time I see her, I'm like, dang. I wish I'd
Yeah,
known you
I
guys when
love
I was
you.
there in the fall. I would have been like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll have you on if you come through. But yeah, Jazz is the homie. Jazz, we call her the podcast mom. Like she really, because me and Francisco, we be flying off at the handle, and she's just like, all right, children, let's rein this in a little bit. But nah, we love Jazz. Jazz is the best, honestly.
she is. And Toxic, y'all, has a period between each of the letters in toxic. Could you tell us what toxic means for the channel?
Yeah, so it's an acronym. It's if I remember, transformation, opportunity, X for excellence, I for integrity, and C for community. So it's an acronym. People say as soon as you hear toxic, people will just instantly turn off, like, oh, I'm not trying to hear another podcast about A, B, and C. But I kind of made it known, like, yo, this is not going to be a podcast of black women attacking black men and vice versa. Like, I'm so tired of that, which is why I wanted to create it. So it's kind of like a play on words. It's toxic, but it has a deeper meaning to what toxic really is.
Right. As you said, you put the toxic perspective out front so that you can change your perspective, grow from that perspective, and be a better person. I really do. I
Exactly.
really do enjoy. I didn't want to be all up in the chat, but after this interview, I definitely will be.
Me too. I ain't get a chance to look at all the comments, but after this, I'm definitely gonna look.
Yes, yes, definitely. Hussein did drop by, so
Okay, my guy.
definitely you,
That's my homie.
yeah, definitely have the support of the cast there. But thank you
For
so much
sure.
again, Cam. Y'all, we're going to get out of here, and like I always say, I'll see you on the next one.